welcome Julia Coronado. Julia, good morning.
Good morning.
You're Jim Glassman there talking about how GDP and employment don't seem to be really in sync. You made them in sync this morning with your report. You have lowered your GDP numbers dramatically. Why did you do that?
Well, I think that what we've been seeing is just a tremendous series of confidence indicators that have just showed rapid deterioration. And in an economy with very few buffers against these sorts of shocks, consumers are not borrowing to smooth through disturbances in their income. Businesses are still acting extremely cautious. We have to believe that that confidence shock is going to translate into economic activity. And indeed, we saw that in the August employment report. We got no job growth. And that's a very rapid transmission from lack of confidence to lack of hiring. And I think that's a very worrisome indication.
The optimists, the relative optimists out there opposing your 0.75% view for this quarter say ignore confidence and look at tangible economic data. Do you expect their forecast will come down as well?
Absolutely. So in circumstances like we're in, the tangible economic data we have is lagging. The real hard data we've gotten is mainly for July. Well, July is before most of the events happened that we're worried about. So it really, one of the small indications we've already had was a decline in auto sales for August. It was a small decline, but remember, we had expected a big surge in auto sales in Q3 and Q4 as the Japan supply constraints got resolved to be one of the factors that led to stronger growth in the second half. We're not getting it. It's already gone.
Let's call, 6-month GDP positive 0.5% for the back half of this year. Let's bring up this chart. You take 0.5%, you throw on 2% inflation. Julia, that's sub 3% nominal GDP. You can see the trend line there, folks, back to 1980, maybe back to 1985, and then you can see how we've rolled over again. What is the policy prescription to get the animal spirits going again?
Well, that's one of the difficulties right now is that the policy tools are limited. I mean, I think the Fed is going to do everything they can. Their tools are imperfect and of very limited use, but I think we are going to see QE3. I think we're going to see a package of proposals from President Obama next week, some of which will get passed probably in the fourth quarter. I think all of that helps. But I think a lot of the problems we're facing are very deep and very structural, and there's no silver bullet here. So I think we're in it for the long haul. I do think we're going to go into a mild recession. We're going to see negative numbers on GDP and payrolls. And policymakers will be constructive, but I don't think they can completely solve the problem.
Now, we're going to have to leave it there, Julia. Thank you so much. Appreciate you coming on today on short notice and also seeing Dr. Coronado on Bloomberg Surveillance earlier this morning.